evening, my name's Alex Hamill.
I'm Jasper.
And you're watching Examining the Expanse. So, Jasper, I finished listening to, not reading, listening to
Oh, yes.
Leviathan Wakes.
Okay.
And if you don't want spoilers for the first book and you just want to hear our review of Season 3, Episode 1, time code is here.
Is that what we're doing?
Here is the time code.
Kind of like, fuck them, they should have watched it / listened to it.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of know what you're getting in for if you watch the show.
Yes. This show's is a very good adaptation. As far as like adaptations go.
Yeah, a lot of the
they've
same.
done a good job of adapting the books.
A lot of the same dialogue, like, oh, that's straight from the show. Characters are basically the same. And yeah, it follows the beats of Season 1 and part of Season 2. It's kind of weird how the show has structured it. The first book is the first season and the first part of Season 2, and then the second book is the second part of Season 2 and the first part of Season 3. Which is interesting, which means, yeah, you don't kind of end on a big conclusion. You open up in the middle of stuff. But yeah, a few of the differences from the book to the show is the proto-molecule in the book was a lot more like Hieronymus Bosch, like David Cronenberg, horror-centered.
Oh, yeah. The show tones the horror down a bit. I think I've spoken about that before.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of moments of the book in detail describing these horrific events on Eros of severed rib cages crawling around and leaving big, disgusting sludge fucking traces behind it, and severed hands and severed eyes and all this shit. And yeah, you think about the proto-molecule in the show and it's depicted as this beautiful blue ethereal light. And in the first book, it's depicted as this brown, disgusting, vile, contaminous sludge. I think there is one part right at the end of the book where it describes like a blue light.
The luminescence.
Yes. Okay. And visually speaking, like
the luminescence is way better.
Yeah. If you had like Eros, a dark, dank station with fucking brown sludge, it's like that doesn't come across as nice as a.
That's what's it called? What was the movie? Event Horizon.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good movie.
That is a movie.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess the biggest departure from Season 1 to Book 1 is, in the book, Miller was obviously depressed. He had a lot of shit going on and his life was not swell and dandy, but the reason he stayed on Eros was because of circumstances.
I mean, it's a long time since I read the book.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Was it been like 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the book, it's not random circumstances, which means Miller has to stay on Eros. You're in his head and you get a lot more of information into his psyche and where he is. But he's like...
He's got a whole bunch of shit. He has a life.
Yeah. And yeah, so he's having all these fucking visions of Julie Mao, which seem a lot more mentally unstable in the book. And yeah, he's really shooken up by he kills Dresden, and then the Rossi crew are like, Holden's like, you need to fuck off when he necks that guy. And he really is like hurt emotionally by the fact that the Rossi crew said fuck off. And he has like nobody, he's been fired, and then he's basically suicidal and he chooses to stay on Eros. They plant the bombs and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here and die. And that little punk kid, whatever his name is, like, okay. So that's an interesting change up, but other than that, B for beat is pretty much there. The characters are pretty much there. You get a lot more of the juxtaposition of like the.
I feel like, and this was specifically a scene in this episode where Bobbie is taken off her Martian power armor, and I feel like her character is overplayed a little bit. Like they seem to put a little bit too much emphasis on how much of a badass she is.
Yeah.
That sort of kind of makes it almost comical and retracts from how much of a badass she is.
Yeah, you have to
She's her character is a fucking badass.
Yeah.
But not in a comical sense.
You have to let it play out naturally, you can't overforce it. I think that's actually a response to a criticism of the fans, because a lot of reviews I watched for season 2, they're like, in the books she's like Iron Man, but she can't fly and she's doing all this crazy badass stuff, and in the show you can't do it. So this was like episode 1 of season 3, and I think they lent it a bit too heavily into the, hey, Bobbie's cool, look at her go.
I'll be right back.
You're fired.
And yeah, in the books, because it's just Holden and Miller. And no Avasarala in the first book whatsoever. She comes into it in the second, and in the show they crammed her into the first season, I guess, to introduce her earlier.
Set it up,
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, it really juxtapositions the jaded, old, burnt anti-hero against the new, naive hero coming up.
Yeah.
Especially because you just see the same events play out, and then they're two completely different perspectives. Miller is completely fine with the end. The means can be whatever they want as long as the end occurs. And I was like, no, you shouldn't kill innocents. So that's interesting. But yes. Oh, okay, this is another thing we should talk about. You want a drink?
Probably.
You having a drink, Jester?
Yes, I'm having a drink.
So I want to be careful when I talk about this. And I don't really want to talk about it, but I feel like it's kind of necessary. And
It's going to have to be addressed at some point.
Yeah, it can't not be addressed.
What's his face as a rapist?
Yeah, so there have been...
What's his name?
Cass Anvar is the actor. The character is Alex.
Alex, yeah. Alex is a rapist.
Not me. I'm cool. So yeah, obviously sexual assault is wrong. I just have to say that. Sexual assault should never occur ever, and I do not agree with sexual assault. But I mean, at this point in time...
Do you really want to give up the Expanse? Is Alex's question.
No. What I'm saying is, whether or not old mate did it, at this point in time, I think what is most probably 90% going to happen is Amazon is going to kick him off the show.
If it's shown that the claims are credible, which, I mean, I'm not trying to say that they're not. I don't know enough about it, but if they're showing that the claims are credible, then presumably Netflix will kick him off the show.
Yeah.
So what does that do to the show?
It would suck at this point in time for such a big character in the show, especially when talking about this idea of family and the Rossi and these characters that we're on this journey with, for him to just completely change to a different actor. At this point in time, it would fucking suck.
Well, I mean, that's better than them cancelling the show.
Yeah, I don't think they would cancel the show. I think they would recast him. Worst case scenario, I think season 5, which they filmed.
Is there a path
to redemption?
Is there a path for him to be like, okay, I've done the wrong thing?
It depends on what he's done.
There is.
Depends on what he's done.
From what I read in the article, he invited a 17-year-old girl back to a hotel room, groped her, told her that if she kissed him, he'd give her money for a cab.
That's the allegation.
Tried to convince her to take her clothes off.
Yeah, somebody has said that he's done that.
That's what she said in the article.
Yeah.
Or in the Twitter fucking tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what he's done,
he can't
go around doing that.
No, then he's fired. then he's out. He can't do that.
There's a line, and that has definitely crossed the line.
Yeah, but I mean, if he could somehow prove that this is not true, if it's not true,
I don't know.
Worst case scenario, I think
you don't want to have to recast him, but
no, and I think even worse.
Can't also let him get a pie doing that.
I mean, I'll give him a free pass just for the sake of the show. Sexual assault is wrong, but I like the Expanse. Yeah, I think also not just recasting him, but season 5 has already been filmed completely, and they're just working on post-production.
They'll just go in and CG him out.
Yeah, which will delay it heavily. They just cut him out and put in
I
the
don't
new
know.
Alex Kamal.
I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah, rock and hard place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. This whole thing just sucks.
Well, just after reading that article and watching that episode, every scene with Alex in it was like.
There was a big emotional moment where he basically talked to his family about him deserting them and being a deadbeat dad because he doesn't want to live the mundane suburban life. He wants to go on space adventures with the Rossi crew. He's like, I'm a bad dad, I'm a bad person. I'm like, yeah, you also sexually assaulted this woman. So yeah, it's hard.
I mean,
to separate
the problem is you can see him doing it. You know, it's not like one of these people where you go, oh, well, that person would never fucking...
Yeah.
You can see him. He seems like the sort of guy to do it.
I don't know if I agree with that. I've seen him in interviews, he seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this episode, it opens up halfway through book 2, and political warfare between Earth and Mars is at a peak. The inter-character drama within the Rossi is at a peak. Everything has not kind of like rounded off and at a conclusion. We just open into season 3.
We cut it like a cliffhanger at every point.
Yeah. Earth's at war. Everybody is absolutely devastated at Naomi's actions. Alex is sexually abused.
Some chick at a Comic-Con.
It's just kind of awkward, actually.
So and then from this point in time it just continues to escalate and escalate.
Not the sexual abuse.
Hopefully not. Please stop, Cass Unbar. If you can hear us, don't do it, man.
I've been an awful husband.
We open with a great CGI take. It's like a one shot that zooms through the solar system.
Yeah.
And it kind of outlines the geography of everything, which I'm sure will be understood anyway. The Milky Way system. And then it updates you.
Just the solar system's on the whole Milky Way. It's like a fucking galaxy, man.
The solar system.
It's just
our solar system.
Soul system.
Soul, as in one. Soul.
That's usually that's a lot of, depending on what fucking sci-fi. But when you get into sci-fi that goes out into multiple systems, quite often it's Sol system is what they call, because that's the name of the sun.
Okay.
That's what solar, because this is the system of Sol.
Solar system.
Yes.
Interesting. Basic astro.
I don't know if any of that is even remotely true. What's the etymology of the term solar?
Fuck.
But it refers to the sun, so sol
Ancient
refers
Greek
to the
for
sun.
fucking some guy. Pass me a Let me see what they got.
But I'm talking random dirt.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna avoid that.
Fucking look, this is professionalism. This is what I have to fucking deal with. Terrible. Fucking terrible.
So Prax's last episode was the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Holden was pinned and dying, and he figured out the.
I don't know. I didn't get to see the last episode.
I assume on some level you remember it. There was a proto-molecule monster on the Rossi.
Yes.
Holden was pinned, and Prax figured out that it was after a power source, and he managed to get it off the ship, which was refreshing. Holden, for once, was not the hero.
Yep.
And now Prax has this great character conflict going on of, did I kill my daughter? Was that rabid monster my daughter.
Yeah.
And I like also his uninvolvement with the rest of the drama. He like doesn't give a fuck if Naomi gave the proto-molecule to Fred Johnson whatsoever.
Well, yeah, he's too embittered to care about any of these people at this point, I feel.
Yeah,
You know, he's like, fuck all of you. Yous have used and abused me.
Yeah, Holden in this episode said, I don't give a fuck about your daughter.
Yeah,
we went
up.
through all of that because we're tracking down the proto-molecule, but we're willing to go on another space adventure to once again try to save your daughter.
I didn't give a fuck about your daughter.
Jim.
I used you to get us through Ganymede, and none of us would be breathing if you hadn't come.
Look, you don't have to say that.
We owe you.
So yeah, basically inclusion.
What about CG? We need to talk about CG.
Alright, yeah,
That
talk
was one
about
thing that
CG. And talk about your blender thing. That conversation we just had.
Do you want
repeat that exactly?
Anybody wants to listen to
make
the blender
it
thing?
even more enjoyable.
What we'll talk about is apparently Steve had bagged out on the CG in Two Towers.
20 years old.
Right, and I was talking about something that I'd seen on fucking YouTube. Anyway, I've been trying to learn Blender.
Nerd alert.
Which is a 3D modeling software. And if you know anything about 3D modeling, it's basically all just points in space with lines that connect those points to build a lattice. And then that lattice creates an object. And you can give that lattice properties that allow you to use it depending on what tools you want to. It allow you to manipulate the lattice depending on what tools you use, essentially.
Yeah.
In a sense. But this means you could make like a block of clay and use a tool that would, in 3D, manipulate that. Well, that's not that technology they had when they made Golem or Smeagol.
Yeah.
What they had was the ability to make squares. And then you make another square, and then you make another square, and then you make another square, and the square has 4 points on it with lines connecting it. And you build out these squares, and that's what this thing on YouTube was talking about. You build out these squares until it forms an object, and that's how they made like fucking Golem. Was to make individual squares to build the whole object, which is crazy.
When you look at that, there's a scene in the Two Towers with
Golem. Everyone knows that scene.
And Smeagol, but yeah, he's acting.
Yeah.
He's a CGI creature.
Well, I mean, so you build
acting.
You build the creature, and then you assign it points, and you can
manipulate that.
You can give the lattice properties. And so you assign points, you give it properties, and as you move those points, because the rest of the lattice has properties, it deforms in the way that you program it, and then you feed in the motion capture data. To move the points, and then that.
Well, at the beginning they weren't even doing the motion capture stuff.
Yeah.
They had,
like you said, they're
pioneering.
Well, that and
flying by the seat of their pants. Jar Jar Binks.
No, I was gonna say I've lost it now. What's the one with the big blue cunts? Avatar. That was the other one that really pioneered the motion.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning for Lord of the Rings, they were doing one take with Andy Serkis in like the gimp suit, which is what they referred to it. So don't fucking. And then
we've all got one.
They would use that as reference, but then in the shots they'd refilm the shot, but without Andy, and that was where they were going to put Golem into. But then what they realised was that Elijah Wood and what's his name, Sam,
were reacting better.
Yeah, they were acting way better when they were acting opposite Andy. So they went in and actually painstakingly like painted him out and then painted Golem in. And then like right towards the end they came to the knowledge of motion capture and they actually had him in there, and then they were actually able to capture his movements and put the model onto that. But and Andy at the beginning, he was just going to be a voice actor, and he came down and he was like, I don't want to be a voice actor. He was like, there has to be 1,000 parts in this fucking movie I can play, and he read through it, he's like, oh, I want to play Golem. Then he came down as a voice actor, and he's like, I want to act beside them, and then they went in and they rechanged the model, because if you look at the Fellowship of the Ring, there's a shot of Golem.
Yeah, it's way different.
And they actually changed Smeagol to look like Andy's face, and then they got footage of his face, and they would have that side by side as they were animating of Andy's face and match it to Golem. So yeah, good on Andy Serkis and good on Weta Digital.
Yeah, no, they did crazy. Well, it's one of those things where it's like you get people who are too stupid to know that they can't do something.
Yeah.
You know?
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
There's a shot at the end of Sauron's tower falling and collapsing and then exploding. And this guy during his Christmas break didn't go home. And what he did was like map each piece. Because when it breaks and fall apart, the way they did it back then, 20 years ago, and I don't know how you
each individual piece. Well, you simulate it. You make an object now, and again, you give it properties that makes it break into parts, and then you run the physics simulation that breaks apart for you.
Yeah. But then, he had to break it. He had to map every single, because it was just one piece. He had to map every individual piece and then do the gravity and the. Yeah, and he was like, it was the Lord of the Rings. I don't give a fuck about Christmas or my family. So yeah, the CGI in this episode wasn't great. That's why we're talking about this.
Yeah. There's a scene where Bobbie's climbing up the side of the ship, the yacht that they're in.
Yeah.
And the CGI is not the best.
No. It is a cool sequence. But yeah, it doesn't really hold up against bigger television or films faux show. So yeah, basically in conclusion, I mean, not much really happens in this episode.
No, it's the opening
it was just
of
like
the new season.
I have a list of episodes I wanted to cover, and
I could have watched the season finale, but instead I had to watch this one.
I mean, you can give your opinions on the season finale if you want, Jasper. I didn't watch it with you. You only watched it 4 years ago. What did you think?
I don't remember.
Alright, thank you for watching there. I guess I
Good night.